Hello, readers. My name is Miss Clayette. I am so excited to be learning with you today. Before we get started on our lesson, let's say hello with our welcome song. Hello, readers. Hello, readers. How are you? How are you? I'm so glad to see you. I'm so glad to teach you. Hello, you and you. Very good. I am so glad that you came to learn with me today. Readers, did you know that all the letters in the alphabet have special names? They can be put into two categories, consonants or vowels. Do you know which letters are the consonants and which letters are the vowels? There are 21 consonants and 5 main vowels. Can you name the letters that are vowels? You can. If you know them, you can say them along with me. Ready? Okay. A, E, I, O, U. Do you know the short vowel sounds of A, E, I, O, and U? Okay, I'll say them first and then you can say them along with me. I'm going to add some movements along with each sound to help us to remember them. Short A says ah. Short E says eh. Short I says eh. Short O says ah. Short U says All right, this time I want you to say the short vowels along with me. See if you can also add the movements with each of the sounds. Ready? Okay. Short A says ah. Short E says eh. Short I says eh. Short O says ah. Short U says Nice job. In addition to knowing our short vowel sounds during each of our lessons, we are going to learn words called heart words. Some sounds contain one or more sounds that are spelled a little bit differently than they're usually spelled. Since these parts are a little different than usual, we have to learn them by heart. We can call these words heart words. To do this, we're going to create our very own heart word dictionary. You'll need 2 pieces of paper and something to write with. While you grab your items, I'll go grab mine. I'll be right back. I'm back with my 2 pieces of paper and something to write with. I grabbed a marker, but a pen, crayon, or pencil is just fine too. All right, now let's get started on making our heart word dictionary. I'm going to start by stacking my 2 pieces of paper on top of each other and then fold them in half hamburger style. That's the short way. Would you look at that, readers? It's a book. Books always have a cover, so I'm going to draw a heart and write the word word as the title so that I know that this is my heart word dictionary. Today, we are going to add 2 words to our heart word dictionary. Let's get ready for our first heart word. Let's examine the word some, as in some of my favorite friends will be at the party. We can use our letter sounds to spell some of the sounds in some. The other sounds we need to learn to spell by heart. Some has 3 sounds. S, m. Say those sounds with me. S, m. The first sound s is spelled with the letter S. What letter? That's right, S. The last sound m is spelled with the letter M. What letter? That's right, M. These sounds are spelled the way that we expect them to be spelled based on our understanding of letters and sounds. The middle sound, is spelled with the letter O, and there's a letter E at the end of the word that doesn't spell any sound. The O and the E are the 2 parts that you have to learn to spell by heart. Let's spell some together. S-O-M-E. Some. What word? That's right, some. Now let's write this word down in our heart word dictionary. All right, readers, let's get ready for our second heart word. Let's discuss the word walk as in, I went for a long walk with my best friend today. We can use our letter sounds to spell some of the sounds in walk, and other sounds we will need to learn to spell by heart. Walk has 3 sounds. W, A, K. Say those sounds with me. W, A, K. The first sound is spelled with the letter W. What letter? That's right, W. The last sound, K, is spelled with the letter K. What letter? That's right, K. We can read these parts using phonics knowledge. The middle sound, A, is spelled with the letters A-L. What letters? That's right, readers, A-L. This is the part that we need to learn to spell by heart. Let's spell walk together. W-A-L-K. What word? Walk. Now let's write this word down in our Heart Word Dictionary. Good. I hope that after this lesson, you'll share your Heart Word Dictionary with someone whom you love. Together, you can keep adding words to your dictionary. That was a great warm-up, readers. Now we are going to learn about R controlled vowels, or as I like to call it, Bossy R. I can't wait to show you. Today, we are going to learn about R controlled vowels. The letter R is a consonant, and it is very bossy. When the letter R is behind the vowels A, E, I, O, and U, it changes the sound of the vowels. Today, we'll focus on how R bosses around the letter A. At the beginning of our lesson, we reviewed the short vowel sounds and the sounds that they make. However, when bossy R is behind the vowel, the sound changes. Let me demonstrate. When the letter R is behind letter A, it no longer says I, it now says R, like in the word star. When the letter R is behind the letter E, it no longer says it now says like in the word germs. Yuck! When the letter R is behind the letter I, no, it doesn't say it now says like in the word stir. When the letter R is behind the letter O, it does not say ah anymore. It now says or, like in the word horn. Honk, honk. When the letter R is behind the letter U, it no longer says it now says like in the word curl. Do you hear how bossy the letter R can be? The letter R controls the sound of the vowel that comes before it. In other words, it bosses it around and changes the sound. Today, we learned about how bossy R bosses around letter A. When the letter R has the letter A in front of it, it makes the sound R. Let's see how this works. I'm going to build a few words. Let's start with this first one. Do you know what this word is? I'm going to tap out the sounds in this word to figure out the word I built. Remember, AR makes the R sound, so we will tap out those 2 letters together to make one sound. Are you ready? Okay. K-R, car. This word is car. Can you say car? Listen to the sounds of the AR make in the word car. Bossy R makes the A say R. Now, let's build and read our next word. Let's tap out the sounds in this word. P-R-T, part. Awesome! This word is part. Let's read all of these words together. Car, part. Wow, you did an amazing job tapping out the sounds of each of those words. You also remembered that AR is read together and makes the sound R. AR is an R-controlled vowel. Now that we have practiced reading R words, let's see if you can read a couple sentences and spot some of the words that have an R-controlled vowel, AR. As we read this sentence, when you hear the R words, clap your hands. Okay, let's get started. Get those reading eyes ready. Let's read our first sentence. I saw the car go far. I see and hear bossy R bossing around the vowel in front of it. Do you? What word had the R-controlled vowel R? That's right, car and far. Let's underline those words. Car and far. All right, let's read our last sentence and see if you can spot Bossy R in this sentence. She put a jar in the cart. There's Bossy R, bossing around the vowel in front of it. Do you see it and hear it? What word had the R-controlled vowel R? Yes, that's right, jar and cart. Let's underline them. Today, you did an amazing job identifying Bossy R words that had the R-controlled vowel, A-R. When you are reading on your own and you come across the word, remember to practice this skill you learned today to help you to decode those words. I challenge you to go on a Bossy R scavenger hunt. Look at objects around the house and see if they have the A-R spelling. I hope that you had fun today. I will see you next time, readers. Bye-bye.